Good morning, seventh graders. This is your final writing piece for this school year. We're going to be spending several days focusing on this theme, writing about a cherished memory with a beloved person or creature in your life. This will be our writing exam, and it's going to take several days. It's worth 60 points, so you're going to want to do an excellent job. You're not only going to be sharing this cherished memory with us, but you're also going to be sharing all of the techniques that you have learned this school year, incorporating figurative language and sentence fluency and fireball word choice. All right, with that said, let's get started in thinking about those important people or creatures in our lives and those special memories. So, if you could please go inside Google Classroom and open up where it says Personal Narrative Tribute Essay. You're going to see right here where it says Tribute Narrative, and this is a writer's reflection. So, go ahead and open that up. It looks like this. All right, I'll meet you back as soon as you get that opened. All right, you have 7 little questions here to answer to the best of your ability. Some of these you'll feel like you can write more about, some of them a little less. This is going to help you come up with some ideas of who you could write about and that memory. All right, so looking at number 1, who has been an influential person or a role model in your life? Maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your uncle, maybe it's your coach. Maybe it's your best friend. All right. So somebody who's been very important in your life and like a role model. Number 2, who do you admire? What do you admire most about this person and why? What is it that you really admire about them? That they never give up, that they always make people smile. What is it that they're a hard worker, that they teach people things? What is it that you really admire about that person? Number 3, what specific things have you learned from this person? So, what are some things that you've learned? You've learned to step outside your comfort zone. You've learned to not take yourself so seriously. You've learned to, try new things. Number 4, how has this person inspired the way you live your life? So, go ahead and write down any way that they may have inspired the way you live your life. Number 5, which of your role models' traits, those special talents or skills or the way they treat others, do you hope to one day have yourself? So, what of those traits do you hope to have one day yourself? Maybe you hope to be a good listener like they are. Maybe you hope to teach others the way that they have taught you. Number 6, can you think of any specific examples of what this person did or said that really made that lasting impact? So, can you think of any of those? And then number 7, I want you to list down some important memories or stories you have with your role model. So, if I am thinking of my grandmother, because that would be my role model, I have a ton of different stories. I have stories of going and helping her with volunteer work. I have stories of her taking me to the dentist. I have stories of, oh gosh, of her when she actually hit a moving train with her car. So I have all these stories. So I want you to just go ahead and list down some memories that you have, and then we'll be able to pick one of those that you can then develop into your essay. All right. So go ahead and list them down and get an idea of which one you might be able to write about. Hopefully, you have an idea of which story or memory that you could write about. I'm going to tell you, mine is going to be about my grandmother and about all the times that she took me to the dentist. And that is going to bring me to our next step today. Our next step is going to be figuring out which one we're going to write about. So you need to pick a memory with that person or that creature, and you're going to be writing about that memory. It should be a small moment in time where you can really talk about everything that happened from the beginning to the middle to the end. And what did you take away from that experience? All right. So whether it was you and your friend going on that roller coaster together, whether it's your mom helping you through a difficult time, whether it's your aunt teaching you how to be an artist, whether it's your coach cheering you on at the right moment, all of those things. Okay. So right now, I want to talk to you about storytelling versus summarizing. So I'm going to just basically put it out there for you. When I tell you, I'm going to write about when my grandmother took me to the dentist and how we would always get lost. And then we would go get butter cookies at Rikey's afterwards. That was a summary. I didn't story tell it. I didn't tell you all the details in the moment by moment description. What I need to do is I need to make sure that I am storytelling and I'm not summarizing. This right here is an example of what storytelling looks like, where it gives all the details, the actual words that are spoken, the color of the cold black dirt. This right here is just a summary where it just says basically I did some gardening. We want to make sure that you are storytelling it, giving us all those details and staying in control of your story. So, what I want you to do is I want you to come up with your memory. And I want you to story tell it to somebody right now. I want you to find somebody in your crew, a partner that you can story tell it to from the beginning to the middle to the end, and then what you took away from it. Talk about what was the weather like that day? Who was there? What was said? How did you feel? What were you thinking throughout the entire thing? And story tell it to somebody. All right. When you're done storytelling, come on back for our next step. All right, welcome back. Sometimes people ask me, why do we storytell it? Because it makes it so much easier when it comes time to write it. Things are fresh in your mind, and now you can list all those details down. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to go into Google Classroom and I'm going to ask you to open up this memoir organizer. So, right here, you're going to go ahead and it's right here under personal narrative. You're going to see it right there, personal narrative tribute essay. It's due on June 4th. And you're going to open that up. So I'm going to give you a second to get this open, and we are looking at this organizer. All right. I'm going to ask you to just go ahead and 3/4 your screen if you're inside a crew so you can follow along and see this. If you're at home, just go ahead and follow along. We're going to talk about the intros and the leads here soon. So I'm going to just skip that. What I want you to do is I want you to think of all the things that you just did when you story told it to somebody, and I want you to list them down. Don't worry about it being fragments and just short words, things that you thought about. And I want you to fill in your organizer with all of those thoughts and feelings because then we can turn those into paragraphs. So I'm going to start right here at the before. So, how were you, the author? How were you feeling and dealing with life and what was happening? So, at the very beginning, I was really grumpy. I remember this. My grandma was going to take me to the dentist. I was nervous. I was afraid of the pain because every month I'd have to go and get my braces tightened and new bands put on. My grandma and I had lots of conversations before we got in the car, and then we got in her little blue Dodge Omni. Of course, I went there all the time and I sat in the front seat. These are all the things that I can remember from the before. Then I'm going to list down all the things I remember in the during. And I want to make sure, because the during, that's my heart of the moment. So I want to make sure I add in the action, the description, the dialogue, the inner thought, all the things that I can think of. And I'm just going to list them down. So it'll help me when I go to write it. So I remember my grandma and I, we got in the car and we get going and she misses the turn. Of course she misses the turn. And I'm excited now because I'm like, woohoo, we're not going to make it there. And we start laughing and we're wandering all these neighborhoods off of Laketon. And I kind of wish we'd keep wandering. And we're chatting and we're laughing. And I pointed out all the possible turns and she'd keep taking them. And we keep zigzagging all through all the neighborhoods. And she just smiled. And all of a sudden, I wasn't worried anymore. I was laughing and I was having fun because I wasn't there. And then I went into the after. So after we get there, it's 5 minutes late, of course. We get to the dentist office and I'm happy and I'm laughing and I'm not worried. And I'm ready to go in and face the pain. And then, of course, we go for cookies at Rikey's Bakery, because why wouldn't you go there after going to the dentist, right? And then finally, my conclusion. This is what I learned or realized from this experience. I'm not sure if she did that stuff on purpose, but it seemed to happen every single time we went to the orthodontist. She always had this way of helping me not to worry and to lighten things up and make me smile and laugh. And actually, she'd always say, you don't worry, you can just be concerned. Worrying is way too serious. So she was always positive. She taught me to stay positive, to find the fun in every situation. and to always help others to find that smile within them. So, right now, I want you to take some time and I want you to jot down your thoughts inside this organizer. Just fill in the organizer with your story, okay? So, I want you to take a few minutes and just fill it in with all of the action, description, dialogue, inner thought, and then meet me back here when you are ready. All right, that's where I'm going to leave you today. I want you to leave today making sure you have um, your personal narrative idea ready to go. So you have figured out that memory that you are going to write about, and you've filled in this organizer to the best of your ability, putting in as many details as you can think of. Okay. And then tomorrow we're going to start off and experiment with some leads. All right, guys, I will see you back here tomorrow. Make sure you have your story idea ready and this organizer ready to go.